Hi guys, Lex here, and we are in my studio where I wanted to share some behind the scenes imagery and some of the story that I've been working on for the latest Kid Beowulf adventure. This is book 4 in the series. It's called The Tarpeian Rock. And I've been working on the story for a little while, and I'm very excited to share some of the work in progress. Very close to completing the book. All 200 pages have been penciled and inked, and we're sort of in the final stages of coloring and lettering, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to share some of those tips and tricks for how I developed the new story and what it's all about. So if you're familiar with the Kid Beowulf series, then you know it's all about Beowulf and Grendel as 12-year-old twin brothers and their journey across Europe and Asia, meeting other epic heroes along the way. In this adventure, they have made their way to ancient Italy, where they're going to meet another pair of twins named Romulus and Remus. So we're going to start with looking at the script for Book 4, The Tarpeian Rock. And this is my approach to making comics. I always like to start with writing a full script. There are some cartoonists who can write and draw their scripts at the same time, which I've always been impressed by. For me, my brain works a lot better to actually write out a full script and then take that material that I've written and transpose it to the comic book page. So if we go back to actually the front page here, we'll notice that the final draft, I had that ready in August of 2017, and I think this was maybe the 6th or 7th draft of the script that I finally muscled into shape. For whatever reason, this particular book was challenging to get all the components right, but I was really pleased with the end result. And to give you a glimpse, I write everything in Microsoft Word or Pages, and I like to divide the page in half, where one half of the page, the left-hand side of the page, is basically the script that explains and details all the elements that I'm going to draw, and I leave the right-hand part of the page empty, where I will then do what we call a very rough layout or thumbnail. So you'll see here it says page 1, 4-panel layout, and through panel 1, 2, 3, and 4, I go and basically explain the setting, the characters in that setting, particular backgrounds, and what those characters might be saying. And then on this side, I'm basically just doing a very rough layout of what those panel shapes are going to be. Now there are some cartoonists who will actually draw in the characters in these small panels and do much more refined breakdowns. I used to do that back in the day, and I found that I lost a lot of energy on the page when I tried to transpose this to the final artboard. So what I like to do now is just write out the full script, and then to the right I'm just pacing out the panels that I will then transpose to the Bristol board. So what we're going to do is examine one page in particular from the book. This is page 8, and we're going to read the script out. And so it's page 8, 6-panel layout. You can sort of see I've got the thumbnails right here. And this is sort of in the middle of the action where we're coming across Beowulf and Grendel, and they're stuck in a down and dirty fighting pit in Italy, and they are basically slaves to this fighting pit master. His name is Spume, and in this scene, Spume has just sold Beowulf and Grendel to another lanista, who is somebody who owns like a fighting pit and an arena. So we're going to give you a glimpse of what the actual art page looks like next to the script. And I draw an 11 by 14 Bristol board, which is sort of a heavyweight cardstock. And you can see that I've transposed the panels, and we have the full panel layout. Now I'm drawing this in red pencil. Sometimes I draw in red pencil or blue pencil. This is an old animator's cartoonist trick where you can draw everything with these nice color erase pencils, and then you go ahead and ink it. And what's nice is eventually this page will be scanned into the computer. So when I scan into the computer, instead of having to erase and spend a lot of time potentially smudging the lines, I can scan it in Photoshop, adjust the channels, and wipe out that red or blue line that is the pencil line. So me being a process junkie, I like to use red pencil or blue pencil. You can sort of see the construction lines underneath all the drawings there. I think it's a little cleaner than graphite, and it just kind of looks cool on the page to see the pencils and inks layered in. This is actually a look at the finished pencil page. At every stage, I like to scan in the page so I have a documentation of it, so you can kind of see what the red pencil looks like. And then when it gets cleaned up, this is the inked page after I've dropped out the pencils and cleaned up the artwork. And at this point, it becomes a digital document. So what I do is turn it into a TIFF. I email it to my colorist, who's named Jose. And Jose Flores, he does a terrific color. He'll do a pass on flats, which is basically just dropping in color in all these different places, closing up the lines. And then he'll send it back to me, and I'll kind of tighten up the color so it's on models. So, you know, Beowulf has orange hair and Grendel is green, and we sort of get the elements down that we want, the mood, set the tone. And then we just start to refine the page. And here you go, you can take a look at it here, where this is the full color page. And Jose's done some beautiful stuff with some lighting and really kind of made it look dank and dark in this dungeon of a fighting pit. Now you'll also notice in the original page that I showed you on the Bristol board that I've kind of blocked out where the lettering goes. I like to do all the lettering digitally. I do it in Photoshop. I have a font that's made out of my handwriting. It makes it a little easier to edit. There are some cartoonists who will do the text right in on the hard artwork, and I'm always impressed by those folks. But for me, I like to use word balloons and tail balloons and my font, and just kind of do that on the digital document. I have a little bit more control, and it's easier to edit in the long run too. So here you see the final page presented with Jose's beautiful colors, and I've dropped in the dialogue, and I think it looks pretty slick. This is the opening for Beowulf and Grendel. As I said, they've been working for Spume in his fighting pits, and you can see they're chained up, and they've just been sold to this other Lanista here. So this is where the Beowulf and Grendel story begins. And you can sort of read a little bit more of it in the Tarpeian Rock. This is a preview issue that I put together to share the first chapter of the story, and this is available online. You can sort of see some of the pages there. This is where there's Spume again, and the first glimpse of Beowulf and Grendel stuck in the fighting pits, and on their new adventure, which takes them deep into the heart of ancient Italy, where they will meet another pair of twins, Romulus and Remus. So I'm really excited about this story. I think it's one of the best ones I've done, and I hope you enjoyed that glimpse into some of the process work for just one page, how it goes from script all the way to the final page, and stick around for some more videos.